Shalom Aleichem. Mishnah Yomi is continuing for the 24th of Tammuz. We are in Sukkah. We are in Mishnah Sukkah. God willing, we'll be in the Sukkah in the right time. We are in chapter 4, Mishnah 4, mitzvot Lulav Ketzad. How do you perform the mitzvah of Lulav? It's more fun than you can shake a stick at. Remember, we mentioned this in this chapter, how many days in each holiday the mitzvah is performed on, depending on Shabbat, depending if we have Beit HaMikdash. So mitzvah Lulav Ketzad, how do you do it? Yom Tov Rishon Shel Chag, Shachal Yot B'Shabbat. If the first day of Yom Tov was on Shabbat, remember, if they had the temple, we should have again soon, Bezrat Hashem, we do take the Lulav on the first day. So what would they do? Molichim Lulavehem L'Har Bayit. They bring their Lulav to the Temple Mount Erev Shabbos, because while the shaking of the Lulav could be Doche Shabbos, at least when you have the temple, it is not, the carrying of the Lulav is not Doche Shabbos. The Hachazonim and the officers in the temple, Mekablin Mehem, they accept the Lulavs from the people, V'sodrin Otan Al Gav Itztaba, and they arrange them on the roof of the portico, of the colonnade there by the temple. V'zakenim, for the elderly people, Manichin Shelhem Bolishka, they would put those in an office. We'll see why in a minute. Umalamdim Notam, and the officers of the temple, they teach the men who are coming, Lomar, that they should say, Kol mi shemagia lulavi biyado, anyone who actually gets my lulav, harehu lo b'matana, I'm giving it to him as a gift. Now recall, we learned about in the last chapter, Lulav Gozel, you have to use your own lulav to do the mitzvah. Now what's happening is thousands or perhaps tens of thousands of men are coming Erev Shabbos and leaving their lulav on the Temple Mount. And they're going to use it the next day, but it's going to be practically impossible to get your own personal lulav. So we instruct everyone they should give it, whoever's going to end up with my lulav in their hand, I'm giving it to them as a complete gift. And of course, they're getting someone else's lulav to use, and everyone's going to have a lulav which, yeah, it was purchased by someone else, but now it's completely yours as a gift, and you'll be yotzei the mitzvah with it. Lemahar, the next day, and that's Saturday morning on Shabbos, mashkimei ubayim, they get up very early, they do hashkama, and they come to the temple. Hazanim zorkin otam lifnehem, and the officers of the temple throw the lulavs out to the people. So it's a bit of a scramble here. V'hen mechatfin u'makin ish chavero. And Nebuch, what happened was, instead of people just picking up an etrog and picking up a lulav and etrog and being satisfied, people were sort of pushing and shoving and waving lulavim around. And it became a problem. A kashero beit din shaboli de sakana, and the bet din of the temple saw there was a bit of a danger here. I mean, the tip of a lulav, it can be sharp. You don't want to poke someone's eye out. They said, listen, when we have this lulav ceremony in the temple, it's getting out of hand. At least it's getting out of hand when it comes to Shabbat, when people can't bring their own. So now they're sort of pushing and shoving to try to get their own or try to get a good one. So at least when the first day is on Shabbat, people should take the lulav in their own home instead of taking it to the temple Erev Shabbat and then having a bit of a scramble over lulavim the next day. Now, Mishnah mitzvot Aravah Ketzad. Now, what about the mitzvah of the willow that we referenced earlier in this chapter? Makom Haya Lamata Yerushalayim. There is a place lower than Yerushalayim, sort of under Yerushalayim, Unikra Motza, and it's called Motza. The Bartner brings an amazing fact. It's called Kolonia. In the Gemara says this Motza is actually called Kolonia, and they had beautiful aravot there, as we're going to see. Parish Kolonia Chofsim Mamas. It was tax exempt. It was one of these duty-free areas. Nikra Motza, therefore it's called Motza. It's like Lashon Mitzia, like a good find. Haya Motza Mamas. It was free from, it was out of the tax, Hamelech, of the government authorities. Bishvil Aravah Shalokin Nasham. And it sounds like it was tax exempt because of the good aravot. So halavai, we should be yotzei to a lot of good aravot and very little or no taxes. Halavai. Now back in the Mishnah, Yordin Lasham, they would go down to Motza, the Malaktin Misham Murbiot Shalava, and they would pluck from there the really gishmak big aravot. Bain v'zog v'natam b'tzidei mizbeach. They'd come back to the temple and arrange them, stand them up along the sides of the altar. Rashehem kefufin agavei mizbeach, and the tips of these aravot are drooping over onto the top of the Mizbeach. Now, the entire Mizbeach is 10 amot tall, but they would actually put the base of the Ravot on the Yesod, the base of the Mizbeach. There's like a little outcropping, like a curb around the Mizbeach. That's 1 amma. So the Ravot have to be at least 9 amot tall, but actually the Mizbeach goes in there's a sovev, there's another ledge, 6 amot up, and then they have to droop over the top. So really, the aravot have to be about 11 amot tall, at least 10, probably closer to 11. These are very large aravot. So the Mishnah says, taku v'riyo v'taku. So they did tekiah, teruah, tekiah, blows on the shofar after they arranged the aravot around the mizbeach. V'kol yom makifin the mizbeach pam achat. And every day they would go around the mizbeach one time. So it's not clear if they arranged the aravot and then walked around the mizbeach with their lulav and etrog, or if they were walking around with the aravot and then putting them around the mizbeach. And they would say, well, they're going around the mizbeach, Ana Hashem Hoshiana, Ana Hashem Atzlichana, as we do during Hallel, during our hakafot, when we are going around our bima with our aravot. Rabbi Yehuda says they would say Anivahu Hoshiana. Now we do say that sometimes during some of the hakavot. And that very day, day 7, what we call Hoshana Rabbah, because there's a lot of Hoshanot. Hoshanot are the aravot. They go around 7 times. Bishat Petiratan. And when they're done with the ceremony, Mahen Omrim, what would they say? They would say, Yofi loch mizbeach. Yofi loch mizbeach. It's beautiful to you, mizbeach. It's beautiful to you, mizbeach. Rabbi Eliezer says, what would they say? Leka ulcha mizbeach, or leka loch mizbeach. It's for Hashem and for you, mizbeach, leka ulcha mizbeach. Like, this is a glory, this is an acknowledgement and a thanks to you and to the Zek. Now, this sounds a little odd because we normally don't mention anything else along with God. That's shituf. Shituf is usher. It sounds a little odd. Now, what's really going on here is the praise is to Hashem. Like, the praise is to Ka. We're praising Hashem that He gave us such a beautiful way to get kapara and to get closeness to Hashem. Remember, the word korban in offering is lashon karov, to be close. So the whole point of the mizbeach is to achieve closeness to Hashem, and it's such a beautiful thing that Hashem's given us a beautiful temple, a beautiful mizbeach. We should halavai, we should see it and appreciate it in our own days, that we're beautifying it with what we can, with the water libations and with the karbanot and with the aravot, and we're doing hakafot, and we're appreciating Hashem for such a beautiful method that Hashem has given us to achieve closeness to God. Yashar kochachem and sei gesund.